Hey there, so today we have another review. Today is 3 Pump Special by Ellipsis Brewing, and as you know, Darwin actually works for Ellipsis, which is based in Orlando, about 5 minutes from the Orlando airport, so if you ever fly in, make sure to come check it out. Hopefully Darwin will be working, and you guys can nerd out on some beer together. Anyway, this is a porter with cold brew coffee, vanilla, hazelnut, and chocolate flavors. This is based off some of the employees that actually work at Ellipsis who supposedly used to work at Starbucks. So let's go ahead and dig in. Beer kind of, first glance comes in a very, very dark color. I would say like espresso to black color. There is some brown hue to that. The head is
cocoa brown.
Yeah, cocoa brown. It's
tan.
It looks like
dark tan.
Looks like the foam on an espresso.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Let's get the aroma on this. Right off the bat, I definitely get some coffee. There is oddly some booziness, which is weird considering this is only like a 5.4% ABV on this. Get a little bit of the hazelnut. The vanilla and the chocolate definitely come through. It does smell like a very sweet coffee that you would get through from a drive-through coffee place.
Mm-hmm. I'm really enjoying the nuttiness of the hazelnut.
Yeah, it's actually
almost like Nutella.
I'm slightly salivating at this point, so let's dig in. Cheers.
I have it pretty cold. It's back in the fridge.
Yeah. This is a little bit colder than I would initially like it to be. But with these kind of beers, I do kind of like to slowly sip on them from like cold to warm to see how the flavors vary. And I can tell you right off the bat with this one, you definitely get some of the cocoa nib. You get some of the dark coffee flavor. You do get some of the hazelnut, and it's more of like the actual hazelnut. It's not so much like sweetened Nutella. It's more of like the actual hazelnut nut. It's pretty good. And I do pick up some of the natural vanilla bean flavor in there. It's not as sweet as I would have expected it to be, actually.
Yeah. I think this is actually pretty good. One of the wonderful notes of a cold brew coffee is that the coffee is actually not that bitter, but actually quite sweet because you're using cold brew coffee and not extracting the bitter tannins of the coffee. So actually having this quite cold, I actually like it. It accentuates the sweetness. Or not accentuates the sweetness, but it makes the sweetness sort of work. Whereas I think this beer generally warmed up would be actually generally quite sweet.
Yeah, I could see it being like a little bit warmer. It would probably be a little bit sweet and sticky on the palate.
Yeah.
Especially that stickiness can be a little bit interfering with a lot of flavors. Because, when you get like the sweetness sticking, then you're kind of missing out on like some of the deep chocolate or the nutty hazelnut, like the natural flavors. And you're getting more of like the candy type flavors from it.
Yeah.
So I think that this is actually pretty good refrigerator cold. But I still am curious to see what it's going to be like when it warms up maybe 5 more degrees, and we'll see what it tastes like then. I guess final impressions and rating for you?
For me, pretty good. I think like as a sort of like a pastry porter, 5.4% kind of thing. It does a good job at the kind of cold brew coffee, kind of like Starbucks kind of thing. I imagine the coffee flavor could be a little bit more accentuated. But in general, it's like that kind of decadent. Like, I definitely could imagine some people could be confused by this being sort of like a canned cold brew coffee.
Yeah.
No actual milk in there, just like a sweetened cold brew coffee with hazelnut, chocolate, vanilla, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, it's carbonation, this one, so that sort of messes it up. But I find the beer in general just a little bit sweet, with like a little bit of edge of roast to sort of help balance it out, because it is a decently sweet beer with that vanilla and chocolate. It's a little dense. But it's pretty good. If you like that kind of like, if you're in the realm of enjoying your pastry stouts, but don't want them at 8 to 12%, even higher, 5.4, this will do the trick. Sort of a mini pastry stout. Because they're generally imperial stouts. Does a great job for that. So, personally for me, again, I like the bigger ones. If I'm going to get pastry stout, I'm going to, go all the way. This is like, a little bit different. Let's go with a impression beer. 91.
Okay. So for me, I also agree that this definitely tastes like cold brew coffee out of a can. Like, if you were to add some ice, maybe a little bit of heavy whipping cream to this beer, I mean, I'm not even going to say cold brew coffee, but to this beer, you could easily drink this just as you would a cold brew coffee.
It does not taste like beer.
It is decadent. I wouldn't say it's like sweet, like some of the like the Bourbon County coffee edition that we just had. But yes, it definitely is sweet. Just not like overly sweet. It's not like there's a pound of sugar in this cup.
It tastes like that to me.
No, not to me, not at all. I think maybe because it's not as thick.
Yes.
It is a little bit thinner. It does drink like coffee, minus the cream. So I do enjoy this one. I think that I could actually enjoy this with a little bit of cream in it, which is weird.
What happened if we added some cream to this?
I'm curious. I mean, if you want to grab some out of the fridge, I've got some heavy whipping cream. I'm curious. Or we could use that one. That's a flavored cream.
Why not?
So I've got some, is it caramel macchiato flavor?
Yep.
Yeah, so I love caramel macchiatos. I'm an iced caramel macchiato. Just go ahead and pour some in there. And we'll add some of the beer.
I'm gonna have to show this, guys. What's this? See, now that looks like a Starbucks.
Yeah, that looks like a
Starbucks. The glass bottle that you got.
Yeah, for sure. Actually smells pretty good.
I might have added too much of this, balance-wise. I know.
Oh, it's actually not bad. Yeah, I mean, I should have added more beer, but I didn't
want more beer?
Throw some of your beer in there. It's actually pretty good. So, this is probably the first beer that I've ever encountered where I'm like, oh, cream would be really good in this.
The problem is this is quite sweet, and this is also quite sweet, so you're adding sugar on top of sugar.
But you're getting that Starbucks sweetness then.
Watch, I'm telling you. Because I probably added a little bit too much.
How weird. Like, I've never had a beer where I'm like, you know what would be good in this? Some International Delight caramel macchiato.
I'm not the biggest fan of those Starbucks drinks because they're so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But those bottle ones, like, that's what it tastes like.
Yeah. That's weird.
And the fat in there sort of gets rid of the head and the carbonation, sort of messes that up, right? Like, sort of the head's all messed up.
Yeah, you can't.
I mean, surely the carbonation is still left in there, but like the carbonation is all messed up because it's so chewy and fat. So like, there's almost no carbonation, so it really tastes.
It's not bad.
We just made our own Starbucks drink. It's actually a little bit more thick because this is a decently thick beer. But
whoever's in charge of Starbucks, get a hold of whoever's in charge of Ellipsis. You guys collab on this and make us alcoholic.
I'll bring this to work and I'll let the people at
Here.
Ellipsis taste it because it's pretty good.
It really is. It's
if we serve this on tap, people would go nuts.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
People
I mean,
nuts.
you could even just like a dash of like some of the non-dairy creamer that you can buy in the little cups. It's actually not bad.
This is better than the beer.
I guess comparing it.
This is better than the beer.
I guess it depends what I'm looking for.
The creamy is what I'm missing on this one.
Yeah, I like the creamy. The creamy almost gives it like a melted ice cream type thing going on.
Yeah, it tastes like melted ice cream. There you go.
So I guess my final impression, I'm going to go on the original here, and then maybe I'll talk about the concoction that we somehow created in our buzzed, whatever.
I'm going to have to bring this to work on Thursday.
Yeah, bring something to work with you.
Yeah.
I have more creamer. On the original beer itself, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a similar rating of 90. I kind of would like to see a little bit more of the vanilla flavor in it myself. But with the creamer added, I think it even goes up to like maybe a 92. Like, this is actually really good. Obviously, I'm not going to go around and grab a can of this and mix creamer with it every time. But I think, like, it's actually a neat addition to have that caramel in there. So you almost get like a 4-pump special. What are you doing?
He's walking out of the fridge. We'll go back.
So that one's not even open. I also have
Is that?
International Delight Oreo.
It's not
I
open
think
yet?
so. I didn't open it. No, it's not even open.
Anyway,
So,
it's pretty tasty. Sorry about that.
I'm digging this one. I really dig it with the creamer. I think that actually, it would be interesting if they could add some lactose to this one. If they could add some lactose sugars to this one, I think that would definitely bump that one up for me.
I think it's a bad idea. You don't want this beer more sweet. You want the creamer.
True. Yeah.
Lactose is not going to make it creamy.
I don't know.
It's going to make it sweeter. I don't want this beer any sweeter.
I think I could take it sweeter because that's what Starbucks, caramel macchiatos are all about. They're like super sweet, and I like super sweet.
Because they're creamy too, though. This beer is sweet enough right now. I'm fine with
I
that.
think we're just difference of opinion on this one. So I'm going to say 90 for the base beer, 92 with the creamer added, which is weird.
Creamer impression, that beer goes to like a 90, 95. It's just like so weird. It's just like if you serve that on a draft, people are like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
So,
okay. Well, that was a really weird review. Thanks for sticking through it with us.
sorry for the fridge. It's a freaking mess in there. We're trying to clean that out. Until the next time, guys. Cheers. Later.